Internet Superhighway. All right, so now we are live, and I'm so grateful and so excited to be here today with the wonderful mindfulness expert, Terri Allen. I've had the great pleasure of knowing and working with for, oh my gosh, over 2 years now at Oasis Palisades Wellness Center. And it's such a wonderful subject to talk to you about because what you are an expert in, mindfulness, is so vital and so necessary right now. And everyone, what makes Terri Allen so unique is that she's been working with many families, many children in schools for many years. So, how do we get connected better communication, and also better transparency and better clarity within ourselves about what our needs are and how to communicate those and support each other. So many of you too, you've been homeschooling, spending more time with your family, perhaps than we ever have had before in the history of our lives since we were little kids living in the
Yeah.
house with parents, right, and our siblings. So for us adults, this whole last 6 months of this pandemic experience can be very challenging, right? Because the things that we may have been doing to relieve stress, to find the joy in life, to enjoy, maybe have not been necessarily available to us. And so that's when the key really is mindfulness. So, how do we use these kinds of mind body practices, mindfulness tools to bring ourselves back from being uncomfortable, from feeling stress, from maybe being overwhelmed, feeling limited by what we can and cannot do under these circumstances. And so I just thought it was such a wonderful opportunity to talk to you today about your expertise, mindfulness, and your wonderful experience. It's been over 20 years working with children, working with families. Terri Allen is a wonderful, acclaimed author of 2 children's books that are used as communication tools for the children to find clarity and the parents to understand their children better, and vice versa. And then I've had the wonderful pleasure of having sessions with her, healing sessions. She's an amazing energy worker, an intuitive guide, and has this incredible crystal bed that really helps us get into that really deep meditative state, because this meditative state is a special state of being where we can become more relaxed, happy, at peace, more conscious, more receptive, and better able to navigate change. And so that's a wonderful state of being that Terri Allen facilitates. And so I thought this was a wonderful opportunity for us to share with people what your toolbox is, and who you are, and that you're available to help them as a guide to reach better places of happiness and wholeness and better relationships with themselves and others, and enjoy a better quality of life. And so I'm so thrilled to be with you here today to ask you some questions about what you're doing. So Terri, how did you get started in mindfulness practices? What was your calling to that, and how has it helped you in your own life?
I think, starting off with meditation, which then formed into mindfulness. So I started meditating around 15 years ago and really grew into that as I went along, meditated daily. At first, listened to guided meditations, then had a teacher, and it evolved from there. And because of my intuitive side, I was developing my intuition through the meditations, the healings of the meditations, the different types of meditations that I was doing. And it brought me to awaken my spiritual and intuitive senses, to heighten them to a whole different level. And so I actually changed career then. I actually was in the fashion and beauty industry for 20 years, and as a makeup artist, and went into the calling of being a holistic healer, an intuitive healer. So it opened up a completely different doorway and gateway for me. It was probably my soul's calling, which I probably wouldn't have known if I had not done regular meditations and really got into the core of myself. So I think that's important. When you're meditating or doing any mindfulness, you are connecting with the deep core of who you are, and developing that strong anchor within yourself, and that grounding and that awareness within yourself to bring those new gifts forwards, or your soul's calling into this life. It's not that I didn't enjoy my work before, I loved it, but it was time to finish and evolve to something else. And I always worked with women, so I suppose I then gradually went on working in the healing realm and meditation and mindfulness with women, not excluding any men. I do have some men, but a lot of times it is women, and you attract what you've gone through yourself. So it then developed into conducting, a lot of mindfulness meditation evenings with groups of people that were coming in Dubai back then. And I did that for many, many years. And it just evolved then into the healing side. And then people, through the parents, through the women or the men, were bringing me their children. And I wanted to take it in a different avenue for the children that I was working with. So basically attended a course in the UK, it was online, did it live, and became a holistic educational therapist. And so learned art therapy, mindfulness, meditation, and how to work emotionally with that inner child of yourself. I think it's working on the inner child of yourself lets you help that child, because they're coming from a completely different perspective. They're coming.
But we can forget what that is as we get older and get disconnected from that pure place of ourselves.
And so that's when the inner work that had been done on myself through the journey that I had taken allowed me to reconnect deeply with inside of myself and my inner child, to be able to then connect with children, to connect intuitively to what their needs require, or what any of my clients require through the intuition skills. So bringing all the different skills into it. And I think mindfulness is a way of bringing your authentic self. Mindfulness is when you're being authentic with yourself. You're knowing yourself, you're knowing your emotions, you're knowing what's happening, what's triggering you. You know yourself really well. And instead of into a child really young, then that's the best gift you can ever give them.
Yes, because we can go through life very disconnected from our intuition, from our own calling, doing what we're told to do, what we should do, all those shoulds, instead of really listening to what's right for us. So there's a whole big learning curve many of us can find through our adulthood, searching to find our pure self again, to be able to understand, be able to listen to ourselves. As an acupuncturist, that's one of the journeys, is our mind is a mixture of our conscious thoughts and also our feelings. And so the mind creates a ricochet effect throughout our whole body. So oftentimes we have a body sensation as a response to thoughts that we have that created emotions, that created this physical response. And that's a way for us to be talking to ourselves to attempt to wake us up, to be more conscious or aware, to start to listen to ourselves. And that's oftentimes, I'm sure you've seen with your clients over the last 20 years, I've seen with many patients and clients over the last 13 years myself. That's really the heart of the journey, is for us to get out of the shoulds, get out of the obligations, and start to get into what is really right for us, right? To really ask those questions and start to listen to ourselves, the subconscious subliminal messages we send ourselves sometimes through our aches and pains, asking ourselves to wake up and become conscious. And I think it's wonderful, you said too, a nice gateway into starting to meditate is to do guided meditations. That's how I had started as well, back in 2007. The guided imagery meditations, which you do, everybody. Terri Allen has a wonderful, I'll put in the comments of this video, the link. She has every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, a wonderful guided meditation experience. It's complimentary. People from all over the world join. And so that's a wonderful gateway to start to experience the lightness of being, the freedom the change of state that meditation can deliver to us, because what we're doing is we're getting out of that emotionally reactive, right, amygdala trauma center in the back of the brain. Some camps call it the lizard brain, our emotionally reactive self that says things we wish we did not say.
Yes. We'll do.
But we do, right? It's part of being human. The emotion takes over and we get reactive, and then we can't think anymore. The forebrain, the conscious part of ourselves in the front that makes good decisions, right, is out, is on vacation. And so we get reactive, right? So we can use meditation, mindfulness practices to bring us back to our conscious forebrain, to our calm, cool, collected state, that we can make better decisions from that balanced place rather than an emotionally reactive, angry, fearful, right, sad, but whatever big emotions might be that can overtake us. So this is why it's so timely for us to really explore this. And I really wanted to offer all of the amazing tools you have, because you not only have your Fridays guided meditations, but you also have these wonderful books. You've been working with thousands of children for over 20 years. I actually gave your books to my friend for her daughter's children, for her grandchildren. And I did the book too, because these books are great. Every time you look at the book, it's a different adventure, because we choose where we're going in the book. We choose based on our state, right? What's happening with us. We make these choices about who's with us, where we're going on the journey, even what we're wearing, the kinds of nature that's there. And then we get to look up the symbology of that. And I found the symbology when I looked up what my choices were. I just went with my first choice that I decided as I went through the book. And it was so profound when I read about what the symbology was of the choices that I made, unconsciously, and how much insight that gave me into where I was at. And it was such a joy to give that to my friends, for her and her grandkids and her daughter, to use with the grandkids, to really know them better, what their needs are. So what has been your experience with using those books? What are some of the highlights from your wonderful, this is 20 years of really being a wonderful benefit in service to society, bringing people more clarity. And
I think that I've been doing the healing for almost that time. Working with the books and the children and the teenagers has probably been around 8 years now.
Nice.
And so basically, the books that I developed with my co-author it's allowing the child to make a choice, and knowing that they are that powerful being of light, that they have a choice of anything they put into their mind every single day. So by them making choices and around the nature, which is my magical garden, my magical tree, by everything they're choosing, nature is a part of us. It's the rhythm of life. It's the balance of life. It's always in flow. It is a part of your spiritual body. So your spiritual home is your garden. And so they're connecting back with that energy, but giving them the power to make choices and to connect with that energy of nature and to go with that flow of nature. And it awakens something in their mind. One, they have a choice. Two, it's connecting them back with Mother Earth, which is everything. There's no disconnect. And we see that at this moment in time with what's going on, And so I think it just realizes that child to remember where they've come from. That's how I can explain it. Where they come from, that magical place. They have a choice. They get to choose something new every day. They get to add. And so that's given them their power back, isn't it?
Yeah, instead of all the things that they have to do, they should do, they're told to do.
Teachers, God bless teachers, love them. Parents, we all do it. It's ongoing. They're constantly told, let them choose, let them grow, let them navigate, let them get in touch with their soul calling, and to use that and to have a choice. You have the power to choose. Does it feel right for you or not? And let the child learn that strength and to navigate through life, because then you're going to have a very powerful little being of light.
Yeah.
You have given them their power back. You're,
Yeah,
as
because
parents,
I'm an individual, a free thinker, a critical thinker
exactly.
that's plugged into your intuition. It's huge.
And
What do
parents,
you learn when you see the choices, like your son? You have a wonderful son.
thank you.
What have you learned about him from seeing the choices that he made in the book? As he
Well,
looked at it, he can realize some things.
yeah, so I realised a lot, as you know, when we first moved to the US a few 2.5 years ago, opening the books, using the books as a tool, even though they are my books, it helped me to understand him, because children can't always get across or communicate clearly what they want. Some adults are very similar to that as well. And
Yeah.
doing the page in the book, I understood what he was missing, what needed to bring in balance. It's nothing wrong with any of yours or anything wrong with the child. It's just you're missing something that brings you back into that alignment, back into that balance. And as nature is always in balance, always in rhythm, it's us that's out of rhythm. That's why the books are based around nature, is by, making those choices, and the parent looking in the back of the book saying, okay, this is what my child needs. It's a very simple thing, but it's a big thing for you. Just for me, if I'm not exercising or being in nature, I can get very antsy and very uncomfortable and very irritated. A child is similar. We're all the same, and they're lacking something, and the parent then knows how to give it to them in a holistic way. It's not misread in any way, because we can misread. It's, you're very close, or let's say a teacher's got a lot of children, and some of the children are troublesome, or there's something going on. She hasn't got the time to sit there and actually go through the whole thing, so it's really beneficial tool for them to be using.
Yeah, because it's pretty fast for them to go through the book and make the choices. And then you can learn so much about what their needs are and respond in a productive way instead of being confused. And then they don't have to explain something that maybe they not necessarily have the clarity or vocabulary to even explain or ask.
100%. Right? And then they can just look in the back and say, oh, this is what I'm missing. Is that it? And know that there's no problem with them. They haven't got It's just a simple thing like lacking art, too much technology, get out in nature, ground yourself. All these simple things that we forget, and it's just helping that insight. It just helps because sometimes you don't know, and you're pushing things onto a child or a teenager. And also the books are tools that they can use to read about themselves as they get older. They're reading about themselves. Okay, what do I need today? It just instills again another tool for them to use, which I think is very important.
Oh, it's so vital. This is a life skill tool they can use forever.
You're carrying
forever.
That self-navigation, that self-choice, that you do have a choice, that you have to feel what's right for you. And if it's not, you just don't go there, end of.
And to take the time to ask and notice.
That's where the mindfulness as a parent comes in, is to notice everything. You're setting the tone for your day as a parent, mum or dad. You are setting that tone. And, since the lockdown, and we're homeschooling, and some people aren't, some people are. It depends on the school. But, you have to be mindful on their curriculum, your curriculum, but where you're at. Every morning is being awareness to where you're at in the morning, and being mindful of your emotions, and to really get in contact with yourself and to be aware of yourself throughout the day. Now, it can never, look, you're always going to get ungrounded, and we do float off. I do it myself. But you have to know and train your mind in order enough for it to come back. You keep anchoring it back. You keep anchoring it back. And I think also that's where meditation is great. It's because it's grounding you and anchoring you in. Mindfulness is awareness all the time. We're not all, you should try and be, well, no, we're not going to be awareness all the time.
It's not really possible. That's okay. We just need to see, right, the red flag when we see that we're
off. That training.
Like, I'm up, so I need to do something to help myself, right?
Yeah, when you're off,
see a flag sooner or later.
You need to know the flags, and a lot of people don't read the flags because they're not in the present moment. And that's the most important thing. And once you
and that's what your class is about, right? Because I want to tell everybody you have your class coming up next Saturday, because for adults, isn't that the purpose of the class, for us to wake up, right? And notice
your strengths. So basically it starts next Saturday and it's for adults, and it's 2 hours every Saturday for 4 weeks, and we cover really guided meditation, but also getting deep within yourself, understanding yourself more, reading your chakras, balancing your chakras, knowing how to realign yourself, knowing your energy field. You know, what type of abilities, sensitivity abilities do you have? You know, some people are feeling, they're seeing, they're hearing, they're knowing. So that's really important as well. And how to turn that sensitivity on and off so you're not constantly saying, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that. You know, there's a way of you protecting yourself and learning how to navigate through that. And also doing a lot of inner channeling work on yourself. So you're really going deep within yourself to channel in that guidance and messages that are coming to you, and also for other people. So it's a group session that grows that awakening, intuitive strengths, really. And I think that's really important.
Especially right now, because, you know, we might have been off really for the last 6 months, maybe not feeling quite like ourselves. So this is a wonderful opportunity over the month, because you give exercises and homework too to help people start to build that
They will have
themselves.
100%. They're going to have homework after the class, and so they'll bring it with them the following week, and we work as a group. And I think it's a great way at this time for you to be able to bring in this energy and to bring in this channeled awareness and to really connect deeply within yourself, which is what we need to be doing in order for you to be fully awakened to what's going on and the changes that you need to implement and make, as we all have done, right? We're all doing it.
Yes, and I think one of the things that's important for us to point out is that the results, what the results are of meditation, mindful practices, of taking this time to get introspective and reset, we can come to a place where we have more peace and we have more faith and confidence, where we're not as rattled by challenges, where we can feel centered, where we can feel more energized, where we can feel more peaceful, more creative. It really puts us in a better state of no longer being overwhelmed by things.
Yes.
Actually feeling like we can take life on and having more confidence, right?
And also anchoring and strengthening that navigation within yourself is so important, because we do many things that we don't want to do, or we feel lazy to do, and we really shouldn't be doing that. You know, we shouldn't be doing anything that doesn't feel right for us. And when we're connected and we go into that intuition, you know then how to navigate through it. You honor yourself more. And
I think one of the problems is we can get double-minded, right, and second guess ourselves when we're not really clear and we're not really connected to our intuition.
We should.
That's the stress.
Or you should know, does it feel right for you, yes or no? If you don't have clarity, then go meditate or connect or walk in nature, then come back and make that decision. It's not just off the cuff. And also everything that connects into the heart, everything, lands, whether it's real or not real for you or right for you or this person. It's nothing wrong with anybody or any situation. It's just basically, is it for you? That's it.
Then I think too, what's great about this is that you can then communicate that clarity to your loved ones and vice versa, which is what I love about you working with families, is that then you can truly know what is right for each other. And then because of that, you have the opportunity to support each other and being true to yourself, who you really are, and making choices that are right for you, instead of just making assumptions and arguing and not understanding what anybody needs or wants, right? That's not so fun, is it? In the
there's always a lot of assumptions. 100%. There's always a lot of assumptions, and once you are have this awareness and this awakening. You, like you said earlier, you can never go back, and you set an anchor within your family, and there's a rippling effect within your family. You know, so you're actually the leader or the teacher within your family. Really, you're guiding and teaching others, because you live by their example. So you are teaching your children all the time, and lead with that deep.
I love that. I think that's a great point to end on, is that when we do this work to know ourselves and get ourselves in the best state, it affects everyone, because people react to how we show up.
100%.
So we become, right? We become an example.
Yes.
Then we become a peaceful, safe place for people to be who they are, or we become, right, a spark of more stress and chaos, right? We get to decide.
Just take a moment, take a breath, be mindful, and then let's have a conversation. And let's all discuss if there's something going on, but at least there's awareness instead of, like you said earlier, there's a reaction that we've all done, and but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, this class and working with Terri and starting to see her on Fridays at 9 a.m. for her meditations can really start to make that shift for us, to not be wrapped up in the chaos, the stress, the emotional roller coaster, and negative interactions. We can become more productive and, right, have better relationships with ourselves and other people. But it starts with us. So I'm so excited you have this wonderful opportunity. I'll share my screen for a moment. This is the flyer for her class. And her class is starting next Saturday. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put this flyer and the details to give you guys the opportunity to be able to go ahead and enjoy this opportunity. So we really always get together. We're part of the Oasis Palisades Retreat Collective. We work together, and we have videos each week. So you can see the screen now, Awakening Your Psychic Strengths. And so this is a wonderful 4-part series with intuitive and mindfulness expert Terri Allen. So on Saturdays for 2 hours, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you'll be able to be with Terri and the group to explore how to awaken your own intuition, your awareness, your own clarity about what's right for you, what your gifts are, and how to better communicate that. It's a wonderful opportunity. So that's just $180 starting next Saturday. And then I'm going to stop sharing. I'll include it in the comments as well. I think your Friday meditations at 9 a.m. is such a wonderful opportunity for everybody. I see clinic patients, or I would totally be there. I would love it, because
it's an amazing group. They've been great, and it's great for us to come together as that light and that strong vortex of light, what we've been doing for months.
And the group effect, right, is so positive too, because that's what's nice about the group on Fridays with Terri for her meditation. You get to share that experience, and we amplify each other. We make it a more powerful experience when we share it. And same with her wonderful class. As you explore and you hear other people's questions and comments, you hear parts of yourself expressed too, and gain more clarity, and really build some beautiful bonds with some really like-minded, right, value sharing, heart-centered, spiritually centered people. So I just was so excited to share you and let people know that you're here, and there's some wonderful opportunities for all of us to really raise our game in the self-awareness department and how we show up for ourselves and in life, and how we can be a positive influence. I love this Buddhist saying that happiness truly comes from our work and our words being a benefit to ourselves and others.
100%. That's excellent, actually.
And that's so what you're offering here is helping people learn the tools to work on themselves, so that they can show up better in life, in their family, and in their work, and in the world. And we can all be a greater positive influence that we also enjoy too.
Yeah, you're
right, our day much more too.
Let
alone, right, help other people do that too. So
Cool.
I'm so excited we got to have this talk and
Thank you
people
so
can learn
much.
more about you. And then I'll put some information in the comments of the videos and invite everyone to really take the time that we have to really help ourselves. And then in that way, we can really show up better in the world. And then the world becomes a better place, starting with us. So we're here to help you start with us. So
Thank
thanks so
you.
much, Terri.
Thanks,
So
darling. Thanks.
everyone have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we will see you in Terry's class next Saturday and on her meditations on Fridays at 9 a.m. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Happy weekend. Happy Friday.